So we have different leadership theories. We have behavioral theories, and then we have situational theories. We'll start here with behavioral theories. First, we have the authoritative theory, where an authoritative leader takes little input from their team in decision making. And generally speaking, team members don't feel as valued as those leaders, as like a democratic style leadership. We'll talk about that in just a second. Laissez-faire or laissez-faire, however you want to pronounce it, I'm good with it. This is where the team makes decisions and often without the leader. So this is kind of like a not very present leader. And you can think anytime you hear laissez-faire or laissez-faire, you can think about like lazy and maybe not in a good way, maybe not in a bad way. But there's just not a lot of involvement. Maybe even neglect would be an appropriate word to use there. Then you have a democratic style of leadership, and this is where the leader adheres to the majority. So the majority of the employees help make decisions and help make things work in the democratic way. Generally speaking, democratic style leadership or leaders are well liked by their employees. You might think of a relevant example from your past where you have had maybe each type of these leaders and you're like, oh, I really like that, really didn't like that. Just maybe apply it to your own experiences. Then we have theory X and theory Y. So this is like its own theory in itself, theory X and theory Y, where with theory X, leaders don't view the average employee very highly. Generally speaking, they think the average employee is not very bright. They don't want to work. They don't really see them as like valuable people. Whereas theory Y, managers or leaders think that the average employee is ripe with potential and hold a lot of value for the organization. And that they want to show up ready to work every day, that they want to do good at their jobs. So these are types of leadership that we're talking about here. Next, moving into situational leadership theories, we have our managerial grid, and there's a great example of this in your textbook. You have different styles of leadership based on two continuums. The continuums are a concern for people and then concern for production. So you have different styles that accompany the quadrants of this image. I should have put it in this PowerPoint, but I didn't think to do that. But if you have a high concern for people, but a low concern for production, you would have a country club style management or country club management style, excuse me. So if you have a low concern for people, low concern for production, you have impoverished leadership style. If you have a high concern for production, low concern for people, you have an authoritative leadership style. If you're high in both concern for people and concern for production, you have a team leader. And then you have that falls in the middle of the grid, and that is the middle of the road. Look in your book for this managerial grid, and you can put a visual image to the words that I'm saying. Next, you have contingency theory, and this is where your leadership style depends on the situation. So you might be a country club leader in certain situations, but you might be a team leader in other situations, depending on the context. And then you have similarly situational leadership theory, but this is about like telling, selling, participating, and delegating. So it takes into very specific parameters of situations. Lastly, you have transformational leaders, and these are your inspirational leaders. These actually take their leadership role and use their power to create change, whether that's for the organization or beyond. We'll talk in a minute about how you can be a leader in your organization.